Snooker fans are on edge after a match that slipped from certainty into pure chaos. A champion stared at a 61-point hole, then turned the arena silent with one ruthless shot. The twist rocked the entire tournament and left everyone wondering how the match flipped so fast. If you're loving the drama, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and drop a comment telling us your favourite snooker comeback moment. The stage was set for an absolute blockbuster on day 4 of the Champion of Champions. We already had Judd Trump, the world #1, through to the semi-finals. Zhao Xintong, the reigning world champion, had booked his spot too. And Mark Selby, the home favourite and 4-time Crucible winner, was waiting in the wings. But one spot remained, and Group 4 was about to deliver the kind of snooker that makes you jump off your couch. The format was straightforward but brutal. 2 best-of-7 quarter-final matches would determine who'd face off in a best-of-11 final. That same evening, Neil Robertson, the 43-year-old Australian nicknamed the Thunder from Down Under, had already dispatched Tom Ford with a comfortable 4-1 victory earlier in the day. On the other side, John Higgins, Scotland's Wizard of Wishaw and 4-time world champion, had shown his champion's heart by coming from behind to edge Xiao Guodong in a nail-biting 4-3 finish. Now these two titans were about to face off in a clash that would determine who'd face Selby on Saturday night. From the opening break, you could tell this wasn't going to be your average quarter-final. Robertson came out firing, looking like the better player right from the start. He knocked in breaks of 83 and 127, playing with that trademark confidence that makes him one of the most watchable players in the game. But here's the thing about Higgins. He's a 4-time world champion for a reason. Every time Robertson made even the smallest error, and I mean tiny mistakes that most players wouldn't even capitalize on, Higgins pounced. He responded with runs of 91 and 81, and suddenly, after 4 frames, we were all square at 2-2. The interval arrived with everything still to play for. Coming back from the break, Robertson shifted gears. In frame 5, he produced an absolute masterclass with a break of 115, scoring 135 points in total during the frame. For the first time in the match, we saw some proper safety play developing. Higgins broke to kick off the 6th frame, and Robertson surveyed his angles before playing a safety shot. But even when forced into tactics, Robertson's class shone through. He cut a red back to get on the board, though when he cannoned into the reds, he missed the blue and gave Higgins another chance. But then Higgins overcut a red, a shot eerily similar to one he'd missed earlier. Robertson made him pay immediately. He was making the game look simple, using the vacant blue with such precision that commentators were running out of superlatives. Robertson had been imperious, and he'd taken the lead for the 3rd time that night. Frame 6 saw Robertson extend his lead to 4-2 with a solid 64 break. This was the first time he'd led by 2 frames, and you could sense Higgins was in real danger. Now Robertson's table management was exceptional. He played a cannon that one observer described as a gem, and although he missed the black, that 64 was more than enough. The Australian was cruising, and a semi-final showdown with Selby was looking increasingly likely. But if you know anything about John Higgins, you know he doesn't go quietly. Frame 7 was all about the Scotsman's resilience. Under serious pressure, he produced what can only be described as a superb effort, constructing a break of 86 points in what became a 1-break frame. His cue control was magnificent, his table management textbook perfect. He responded well with a good pot after the break and showed exactly why he's won 4 world championships. The cannon he played was absolutely beautiful, and Robertson didn't get a chance to come back to the table. Suddenly the deficit was halved to 5-3. Both players were producing fantastic snooker, the kind that reminds you why these veterans are still competing at the highest level. Frame 8 saw Robertson extend his lead back to 5-3, but it wasn't the comfortable frame he would have wanted. Higgins started perfectly with a long red and showed great control setting up subsequent reds, but he couldn't find a tight gap when he needed it. Robertson got his chance, but unusually for him, didn't put the frame away cleanly. Higgins potted well, but needed at least a blue to stay within touching distance. He took the simple green but needed snookers to win the frame. When he missed the final red, Robertson was given another opportunity and this time took it. He was now just 1 frame away from that semi-final clash with Selby. Then came frame 9 and the momentum swung dramatically. Higgins, who'd been on the receiving end of several Robertson comebacks over the years, finally turned the tables. He took the cutback opportunity brilliantly, and despite an awkward angle on the brown, pocketed it and set himself up beautifully. What followed was another commanding 86 break. He potted a red into the center pocket to effectively seal the frame and close the gap to 5-4. Robertson had barely been at the table for the last 15 minutes. Higgins had cruised into the 50s in what was becoming an increasingly speedy frame. He had a dilemma on his hands at one point and couldn't cut the black fine enough, but it didn't matter. The longer this break went on, the more certain a deciding frame became. For the first time all evening, a decider looked not just possible, but probable. Frame 10 is where this match became the stuff of legend. Higgins raced to a 61-0 lead, playing with confidence and precision. The black had blocked off the near left corner that Robertson would have preferred, but when Higgins executed a long shot perfectly, making the black a gimme, everyone in the arena was thinking the same thing. We're going to a decider. Higgins was cruising into the 50s, looking comfortable, looking like a man who'd weathered the storm and was about to force one final frame. The tension in the arena was palpable. Robertson sat in his chair, knowing he needed snookers or a miracle. Higgins just needed to keep his composure, play safe, and close out the frame. He'd done it thousands of times before in his illustrious career. But then came the moment that had fans losing their minds. With Higgins holding what seemed like a commanding position at 61 points with Robertson yet to score, he missed the remaining clustered reds and opted for safety with his healthy cushion. It looked like a smart play, the percentage shot. Except Neil Robertson isn't just any player. He found one more fantastic long red from his arsenal, an absolutely excellent pot that laid the platform for what would become the match-winning break. Robertson showed his star quality right there. He had one red tied to a pink that needed sorting out, but as he lined up the black, something special happened. The cannon opened it up perfectly, separating the troublesome balls and laying the table open. At that moment, commentators knew that could well be the game won. Just the colours remained, all sitting more or less in their starting positions, like the table was gift-wrapped for him. And then, with ice in his veins, Robertson sealed it on the black with a well-crafted break of 63 points. From 0-61 down to winning the frame and the match 6-4, it was the kind of comeback that defines careers, the kind of shot-making under pressure that separates the good from the truly great. Robertson's reward? A mouth-watering semi-final against Mark Selby on Saturday night, while Judd Trump takes on Zhao Xintong on Friday in what's being billed as a must-watch first semi-final, their first meeting since 2022. The champion of champions is delivering drama in spades, and if this quarter-final was anything to go by, we're in for an absolutely spectacular weekend in Leicester.